Hello, 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 hello.
Is it working now? Is it working now? Hello? Hello? Is everything okay? Hello? Sure. All right. Good morning, my dear students. Let me add my voice in congratulating you on your admission to a 2-year or a 4-year program in the University of Energy and Natural Resources. My name is Dominic Otu. I'm the Dean of Students of this university. This morning, I'm just going to talk to you on 2 different things. Every student in the university is classified as a junior member. So we're talking about your responsibility as a junior member. And then here being a university, we also look at how communication is going to be channeled. Now, let me ask you, in the last 12 years, where were you? I'm sure you were in primary 1. You moved from primary 1 to primary 2. Some of your colleagues could not follow. From primary 2 to primary 3, some of your colleagues could also not follow. It continued up to senior high school. Yet, even in senior high school, when you took the exam, some of them could not pass. What does it tell you? It means that it takes dedication, hard work, to get to where you are now. Now, in the secondary school, there were so many things that you were guided to do. For example, they will give you a wake-up bell that at that time, whether 4:30 a.m. or 5:30 a.m., you have to get up. In the university, there is no wake-up time. In the secondary school, you go for assembly, maybe Mondays and Fridays. In the university, we don't have assembly. In the secondary school, your senior housemaster will have to be following you to ensure that everybody is asleep at a particular time. But in the university, nobody does that. That tells you that there is a vast difference between senior high school and the university. You have come here to study either a 2-year program to earn you a diploma or a 4-year program to earn you a BSc in whichever field. Now you have to know that people that you have come to meet were not raised from the same home. And therefore, as you come to meet, you don't just rely on anybody that you meet around. No. Because people have different mindsets. I have studied students over the years, and if you can tell me, some of you, your parents had to go a borrowing, go look for a loan to bring you to school. Or in the name of trying to ensure that you get somewhere better, possibly than where they are now. What do you have to do as a student? These differences in the secondary school and the university usually allow some students to do whatever they want. And that is unfortunate. Because it is assumed that in the university, everybody that comes to the university is matured. So when you come to the university, you will see that room number 1 is for males, and then room number 2 is for females. Why? Meanwhile, in the secondary school, if the boys' dormitory is in the south, the girls' dormitory is in the north. But here in the university, the rooms are adjacent to each other. The assumption is that everybody is matured and knows why he or she has been brought to the university. I want you to take these precautions carefully, because some students very vulnerable. Their parents are struggling to take care of them. They come, join friends, do whatever they want. At the end of the day, they ask them to go. You have wasted your time, you have wasted your parents' money, and you have wasted the resources of this nation. So please, the university is here to train you to have a universal thinking, so that when you leave the four walls of this university, you can actually be fitted into society. Now, university is called university because you are not only here to be trained as a natural resource personnel. No. You are not only here to be trained as electrical and electronic engineering student. No. Neither were you here to be trained as mathematics or statistics student. It has to go beyond that. And there is no wonder people come, do courses, but when they go out there, they are found in so many different places. Places where they did not study directly from the university. It's just because these students have been trained versatile. They have the mind open so that any assignment given to them, they can easily adopt. And that is what University of Energy and Natural Resources want her students to behave. Like I started by saying, here we don't ring a bell asking you to come. We have notice boards. You have to read. The culture of reading should be part of you. You don't wait and say that, oh, I did not hear. No. All the time you must be abreast with what is going on. Nobody will ring a bell that we are going for assembly. No. There is a vast difference between senior high school and the university. So you need to inhabit the culture of reading, listening to what is happening around you, and then take part appropriately. The office of the Dean of Students is there to ensure that the safety, the welfare of students is taken care of. And the University of Energy and Natural Resources is always ready to protect, guide its students, so that whatever aspirations you have will surely come to pass. I am urging you, my dear students, that if you have gained admission to come to University of Energy and Natural Resources, please be awake. Don't follow students. Don't follow friends. Know that you came from individual homes. You so happen to meet each other here. And you know where you are coming from. You know how you struggled before getting here. Don't follow friends. People are there, they will give you sweet words. Perhaps their family is doing well. So when they are sacked, they will find a place to go. But when you are sacked, you can't have any place to go. And that is why you have to think aloud and know the reason why you are brought here to come and study. There is one thing I want you to put yourself into. Anytime the university is organizing a program to educate students on any aspect, please avail yourself, go and listen to it, and that will help you in one way or the other. Do not say that, oh, this one will not benefit me. No, that is not how we train students in the university. We do not train students in the university like that. Anytime there is a program going on, please avail yourself, get involved, go and listen to it, and it will help your cause in the university. Now, let me take you to how we communicate. Now, channel of communication is in two forms. We have what we call academic matters, and then what we call non-academic matters. What are academic matters? I'm just going to give you some examples of what academic matter means. Now, the first thing you have to do as a class is that the very first day you go to class, you have to have your class representative. That's the first thing that you need to do. That person becomes your spokesperson. God is not coming. What do you do? The first thing that you need to do as the class rep, not all the class will move. No, all the class cannot move. Just the class rep. Move to your HOD and complain to the HOD. The HOD will help resolve the issue. If the HOD is not able to resolve the issue, we'll refer the issue to the dean of your school. The dean of your school will look at it and resolve them. Now, let's assume that the dean of your school is not able to resolve it. If the dean of your school is not able to resolve it, then we can now move to the registrar of the university or the pro-vice chancellor, who is also into the academic matters of the university. But I believe that in this university, it will not get there. But let's assume that it gets there. After the registrar and the pro-VC, if the issue is still not resolved, then it goes to the VC. But at least, our stay here in the university, no issue has traveled to that length. No, it will not get there. Now, when you go to class, you are going to be given academic counselors. So let's assume that you have been assigned a particular lecturer. The lecturer doesn't come regularly, or when he teaches you, you don't get it. So this is not the entire class, no. So you don't get it, but you belong to a particular counseling group. That's your academic counselor. So the first thing is that you have to see your academic counselor. The academic counselor will help you if it will so mean that we have to get some TA to help you in some form of tutorials for you to grasp the concept. We'll do that. If that one does not also hold, then we have to go to your HOD. So the HOD also down devise a means of helping you out so that you're on the same wavelength as your colleagues. Let me give you scenario number 3. Now let's assume that you've been assigned a room. Very soon, the university examination officer will now give you where you have to study. So on Monday morning, you came and there are some people in the class. 4. Please, this is a university. We do everything in accordance with the rules and the regulations governing the university. This is not a primary school. You don't just go and say that you should get up. God, that's your class. No, you don't have a class here. Please, just take your time. Let your class rep go and then inform your HOD of what is happening. If your HOD cannot be able to resolve it, then there is an estate division. They will quickly, because they are in charge of all the lecture rooms in the university. You don't just get up and go and fight with people. That room is for you. We don't do that in the university. We do not fight in the university. We do not quarrel in the university. Just follow the rules and the regulations governing the university. Now, let me just talk small on non-academic issues. It's unfortunate the University of Energy, just like any other university, has some limitations as far as accommodation of her students is concerned. As for accommodation, it's everywhere. It's not only peculiar to the University of Energy and Natural Resources. It's everywhere. And it will continue insofar as the numbers continue to increase every year. But the University of Energy and Natural Resources have done its best to look for hostels around ensure that the security of those hosted, private hosted, to say, is well furnished, well secured, so that when you are sent there wouldn't be any problems. But you know what? Once people come together, definitely there are bound to be differences. So let's assume that you have rented a room in Fiapre. You travel to Kumasi, your hometown. You came on Monday, and your landlord or landlady says that is ejecting you. What do you do as a student who do not come from here? What do you do? This is non-academic matters. Quickly, there is a welfare component of the LSRC. You quickly have to go and look for the LSRC welfare representative. Tell him of the issue. The LSRC welfare will quickly take you to the Dean of Students' office. Will all match your landlord or your landlady and resolve the issue for you. If it will mean that we have to accommodate you for a day or two so that we can sort your room again, we'll do that. Let's take scenario number 2. Let's assume that you came to school on a fine weekday. You decided to stay a bit. You went back, and some people have ransacked your room, taking your laptop, taking your belongings, and there's nothing in the room. What do you do? Again, when you have such case, quickly inform the welfare. The welfare will, as a matter of urgency, take you to university security. So the university security will also now inform the Ghana police to go and take stock to ascertain that, yes, whatever you are saying is actually true. When all investigations have been completed, and it turns out that, indeed, you were actually robbed genuinely, the SRC welfare will have to meet you halfway and pay some of the lost items for you. If you don't do this and you use your own means, please count the SRC out. And that is why I started by saying that in the university, we work with the rules and the regulations. So, you go there, your items have been stolen, quickly inform the welfare of the LSRC. The welfare of the LSRC will take you along to the university security. The university security will now inform the police. The police will come and take the inventory, whatever has happened there, and undertake an investigation. If it turns out that, yes, you were genuinely robbed, then the LSRC welfare will meet you halfway. Now let's take another scenario. Let's assume that you came to the school, you have an iPhone. You know, these students, you like iPhone, huh? With the elderly people, we are just okay with some Chinese phones. But you want expensive things. Yeah, that's okay. That's your time. So let's assume that you came to the school, you decided to stay, learn a while before you go home. So on your way back, you were met by some tax. I will not say gunpoint, maybe knife point. Asking you to bring your phone. In the night, please, for your life, do not struggle with people who have evil intentions. Do not struggle with people who have evil intentions. Just give it to them, because your life is more important than an iPhone. When that thing happens, don't go and sleep. There and then, look for the SRC welfare. The same procedure, the SRC welfare will take you to the university security to ascertain the issue. If it so happens that you are not telling a lie, but it's genuine, that your phone has been taken away by some tax, then the SRC again will meet you halfway to help you get a replacement. Now, let me give another scenario. You know, you pay for welfare. So let's assume that Now there is a program called Garnet. Garnet, they are providing data bundle for all students in the country. And you are paying 120 Ghana cedis, every student. And you are supposed to get a data bundle every month to help you in your learning at the university. Now you are paid for this. Let's assume that you come to the school in January, just as you have come. January has passed, the data has not come. February elapsed, data not where to be found. March, you have the right to seek redress. This one is not a VC who took your money and said, I'm going to give you data bundle. No. So you cannot go to the VC. No. This one is organized by the LSRC. So quickly, the class rep will have to see the LSRC president and inquire about the data. If the LSRC is not able to give you any tangible answer, then you can come to the office of the Dean of Students. And like I told you from the beginning, this is a university whose men are very dedicated and hardworking, so that we don't always wait for issues to get out of hand before we resolve them. So I know that by the time you see the LSRC and come to the Dean of Students, the issue will be resolved. It will not go beyond that. But let's assume that it goes beyond that. Then we follow the channel through the registrar, the Pro VC, before it gets to the VC. These are the channels. You don't say that, oh, I'm from Accra. There's a lecturer here, my brother knows him. So anything small in the classroom, then you follow up. You go to that, your brother. This is what is happening in my class. We don't do that, please. We don't do that in the university. You don't say that the director of IT is an uncle's friend. So something small in your class, then you walk to the director of IT, go and complain to him that this is what is happening in the class. No, we don't do that in the university. Follow the right channels of communication. Now, the welfare, again, has packages. You know, we are human beings. If you so happen that you lose a mother or a father, listen carefully. Not any other person, not a friend. No. You lose a biological mother or father, please write to LSRC welfare. The LSRC welfare will help go on with you. Because, like I told you from the beginning, the Dean of Students is to ensure the proper welfare of each and every student in this university. The office of the Dean of Students is opened 24/7. If in the night you fall sick so serious, all that you need to do is to call. So very soon you know the telephone numbers. Is to call. We'll come to your aid, take you to the hospital, attend to you until you are better. These are the things that is your bona fide right. So don't be struggling alone. Listen and then listen good. And apply them, because there's a vast difference between secondary school and the university. Like the registrar of academics said, when you come here, your student handbook should be your student companion. Don't be sitting down and say, I have not heard. You have to read. Inculcate the habit of reading. If you have any other things going forward, you are free to visit the office of the Dean of Students. Any challenge that you have, you come. If it's a scholarship, if it's passport, anything that will help you, you come to the office and we will attend to you. I wish you all the best. I wish you a fruitful stay in the University of Energy and Natural Resources. May your dream be fulfilled. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Hello? 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 Already, probably we have to just apologize for the technical because I think it's taking too long. No, I've left it. I don't know, bro. Hello again, students, freshmen for the 2020-2021 academic year. You are welcome once again. I think that I will have to take off my mask, but I encourage all of you to wear your mask all the time. So that is more important at this stage because of the coronavirus onslaught. At this stage, I will have to take you through again because I believe some of you were not able to follow through because of a technical hitch we experienced. We ask that you exercise patience as we try to put things together. I think now everything is okay. We are happy that you have been patient enough. So as I already mentioned in the morning, we are a university with a great tradition. Although we are barely 10 years, we have a good tradition, which is prestige and also influence. We train you in areas which will help you throughout your journey. As I mentioned, the university was established in 2011 by an Act of Parliament, Act 830, and this university, right from the onset, was established as an autonomous university. It means that we issue our own certificate and do many other things without going to any other university. The main campus is here in Sunyani, and in 2012, the university was inaugurated with a pioneering student of 154. Then we also have a campus at Doma Ahinkro, which is about an hour and a half drive from here. That will depend on your car anyway. So Doma has the schools of agriculture and technology, the School of Geosciences. So as we take you through this orientation, we have some of your colleagues at the Doma Hinkro campus who are also undergoing their orientation. At the right time, we expect that you'll be able to meet some of these colleagues. Now, we had our maiden graduation in 2016, where the pioneering students of the university were graduated. And ever since, we have graduated over 3,000 students and counting. Now, we have some facts and figures here you should know. And I will mention that UNE was the first university to have been established in the Bono Ahafo region. Now we are in the Bono region. And so you have to take note. We have some core values which are so important for you as you join us. That one is freedom of expression. We do not tell you not to speak. You have to give constructive expression. Transparency, innovation, creativity, commitment, integrity, and others. These are all in the framework of our motto, which is knowledge, integrity, impact. In all these, we have to exercise our or your values in these areas. Now we have a university logo, which you have to look at and respect because this stands and means a lot to us as a university. So this is a shield with a globe, and then which is imposed on a river passing through the earth. So you see the brown side there, which are for the soil or the earth. And all these factors are, all these features are showing some key importance. So we have provided a link there. I must say that the university website, which is uned.edu.gh, is your mother or the ultimate notice board that you have to visit this website all the time because it contains several important information which you will need. Now let's look at some statistics. We have, as at 2019 figures, we had 429 staff made up of 191 teaching staff and 238 non-teaching staff. We also have student population of about 6,947, 500 master and PhD students, over 5,000 undergrads, and over 700 diploma programs. We have currently 11 programs at the diploma level. We have 28 at the undergrad level and 22 graduate programs, which cut across MSc, MPhil, and PhD programs. Now, our schools. Currently, we run 7 schools. We have the Natural Resources, Engineering, School of Sciences, Management Sciences and Law, School of Graduate Studies at the Sunyani campus. And at the Doma Hinkro campus, we have a School of Agriculture and Technology and a School of Geosciences. Now let's look at orientation. As I mentioned earlier in the morning, this orientation exercise is an important part of your being here, that you have to be oriented to the best of our ability that you are able to fit well in this university community. Now we take you through several aspects of the university life during orientation, and that includes matters on academic life, welfare, non-academic life, security, channels of communication, health and wellness, and also financial aid. There are other issues anyway. Today we are taking you through this, but from Wednesday and Thursday, you will be having school level and departmental level orientation sessions where you meet your heads of department and deans and receive some program-specific information. So you have to take note. Now, at this level, we are going to have officers from this university who will give presentation on all these areas. Now, the university website also has resources. One of the key resources is the student handbook. The student's handbook is a key document you have to all download and use all the time. It contains academic and non-academic issues, which from admission requirement, registration procedures, and even examination rules and regulations, something on anti-sexual harassment, and living on campus residences. Now, when you go to the university website, I have provided a link where you can get this under student downloads. Now, one other key important thing is students' course registration. All students must register courses at the beginning of every semester. Once you do this, you are part of that semester. Your being part of the university is not based on your paying of school fees. It depends on you registering for courses. So when you do not register, it means that yes, you may have paid your fees at the bank, but you are not part of that academic year. And when you do not register, the system recognizes you as abandoned program. So what the system sees you to be that you have abandoned your program. So students, freshmen, I will encourage you that the first day you step in here every semester, first think of your registration of courses. Registration of courses is important. I will go through it after this presentation. I will take you through the step-by-step process, how you are to go by that. We also have matriculation, which will come off along the way. This is an important ceremony for you freshmen because this is where you are officially accepted into the university community as junior members in status populari. So you are going to be matriculated on Saturday, February 27, 2021, barring any changes. Further information regarding matriculation is going to be communicated to you. Matriculation is compulsory, and you must remember that. Matriculation is compulsory. So you have to keep this in your diary. Now, there are some key offices, and I believe that people or officers from all these key offices will be here to give some presentation. I believe that after this whole orientation exercise, all of you will feel comfortable to go in confidence in pursuing your various programs, either at the diploma level or undergrad level. Now, we have key offices such as the Office of Dean of Students. This office provides general welfare to all students. And what this means is that the person called the Dean of Students is mostly your father who is here, the father figure here, the first person you have to contact, both sometimes even in academic matters. But so for non-academic matters, you have to go through your Dean of Students. Now, what you have to remember is that we have something we call locus parentis in the academic environment, and that is where senior members are supposed to serve as parents to junior members. This office is mainly charged with that responsibility, and it operationalizes this locus parentis as we hear it. Now, counseling. You also need counseling most of the time. When the going gets tough, mostly you need counseling. Or even on academic and non-academic matters, you need counseling. The counseling office is here. They provide all the professional counseling services for all students. So we will have somebody from counseling who will give also presentation later on about what services they provide. The library is there for you. That is the office which, or the kind of building which will be most important to you, because it contains so much information for your academic work, either for 2 years or your 4-year journey. Academic and Students Affairs Division. This office is under the registrar's offices and has under it units and examination, admissions, and student services, and sometimes even affiliation. But currently, what we do mostly is about admissions. So yes, we process your admissions, we issued your letters, and now you are here. We ask that when you need any information on whether your name, you made a mistake in registering, or you made a mistake during the admission process, what you have to do is to come to us next week. Next week, you can come to us if you think there's a name, the misspelling of your name or so. You can come there so that we see what we can do about it. Where again, when you need an introductory letter to open a bank account, which I know most of you do not have at this stage, I will ask that you come there and request for an introductory letter. We are going to help you in that regard. Now, security services. Security services also provide you security here. As you are here, you have to take your security seriously, because the bad guys are here with us. And when I mention bad guys, I believe you know the people I refer to. They may be after your phone, they may be after your laptop, they may be after your money or any valuable. I ask that in the unfortunate event where you have these people following you, leave all those things to them. Leave all those things to them, because your life is the most important asset which you have. Now, we have the University Health Services. They provide all medical care and wellness for the students and even staff. I will ask that we are going to have the university medical officer who will also give you a presentation on this. As I mentioned this, I will ask you to visit the university website and download the university COVID-19 response plan, which set out some key information here for you in the era of COVID. So protect yourselves, but also read the university's response plan on COVID-19. We have the Student Representative Council, SRC, and they are in charge of student leadership. This is an important structure in the university affairs, because they bridge this gap between, or they are the link between students and staff, the management. So you have to know your SRC executives. I know the SRC president will give a presentation tomorrow where he will tell you all that there is to know about the SRC. Now, from here, if you need any further information regarding academic and students affairs, we have provided you with emails, and then also telephone numbers and an active WhatsApp platform. an active WhatsApp platform where all your queries can be responded to even in the night if we are not sleeping. So you are encouraged. We do not accept voice notes or WhatsApp calls. You send us a message and we will reply you at the appropriate time. So students, a lot of you are asking about registration. How do you register? You cannot register when you do not know how to go about it. So let me take you through this process as I go to the university website and take you through the procedure. Now, when you go to the university website, an important part of it is that you do not need anybody to do this for you. You can do it yourself. And when you go to the university website, I expect you to visit a page which I expect to open. So from this stage, it is a step-by-step process which we want you to follow. So students or freshmen, let's go through the process. So number one, you go to the university website. So students, let's continue with the process. Now, when you go to uned.edu.gh, which should be the first URL you should be visiting every morning because you need some information concerning your stay here, you go to students. Now, when you go to students, the drop-down comes and you have what was students portal and student downloads. First, go to students portal. Now, under it, before you go to your registration, some of you process your admissions with other people's telephone numbers or phone numbers or even email addresses. That is the challenge here. So we send messages and then these messages are dumped at internet cafes. So before you go on registration, if you know that your telephone number and email address do not belong to you, the university gives you an opportunity to update this before you go further. So when you go to students portal, go to student record update. Now let's see what happens. When you go to student records update, it opens here and gives you an option. There's study option. Study option, when you click on study option, you have a drop down and you have regular, weekend, and postgraduate. You are regular students once you are here on regular basis. You are regular student because that is your status in the system. You click on regular, you go to exam reference, exam or reference number, and input your reference number, which is now 2009091 or 92. When you go through this, it allows you to update your email address and your telephone numbers. Your email address and telephone numbers. Now, when you do this, and even gender, maybe you applied as male, but now you want to be known as a female, or even in between. So we provide these details. You are able to update this. Now, when you are done with the new information you want to be here, you click on update. When you do this, the system now takes your new credentials for any further work on this registration procedure. Now, I will take you back to the home page where, after doing this, that is, if you know that your phone number and email address are not for you, you do the update and then you return to the registration site. So let's wait while this registration portal opens. Yes. So you go to students you go to Students Portal, and then now you go to Regular. Now, when you click on Regular, it is also going to open a new page. Now, when that opens, let's wait, probably with our system, the internet connection. So let's wait whilst this opens. All right. It is on its way. Good. It is here. So now you have this page, which is the UNE Undergraduate Students Information System. When this page opens, you are not students. You are now joining. So you do not have your username and password as at yet. So what you have to do is to go to Forgot My Password. Now, when you click on Forgot My Password, there's this page which opens. When it opens, it requests of your index number. Now, the only number you have is your reference number, which is your 2009091 or 93, and then you have others. So once this opens, just put that number there, 200, that your reference number in there, and then you go to Send. When you click Send, it will send to you your username and password. It will send to you your username and password. When you receive this username and password, you now have to go back to this page here, and then you use your username and then password, and then you log in. When you log in, automatically you are under a school, a department, and then your program is going to show. All the courses at this stage for you freshmen mostly are, I would say, they are in a portmanteau. They are there already. So you do not have to do any select any specializations or whatever it is. You go straight away to find what is there. Now, when you go in and log in, you register and then you click print. When you are done and you click print, please, that is going to give you what we call proof of registration. Proof of registration. We do not want you to come later on and say you registered and you didn't register, I registered. So what you have to do is to print a copy of this registration form as a proof of registration. Take the proof of registration form to your department. And that is why I'm saying that do not jump the gun. Your registration has to come after you know your deans and HODs and even program coordinators, so that when you print this proof of registration, you know where to take it. So you take the proof of registration to your head of department, where you endorse and he also endorses. Once the endorsement is done, I think they will take a copy there and put it on your file at the department. And you also keep a copy. You also keep a copy. So freshmen, the registration has to be done after you are done with your school level or departmental level orientation on Wednesday and Thursday. This can be done on your phone everywhere. You need not to go to anybody or a cafe, internet cafe to do that. So I will encourage you, go to these programs or these sessions where school level and departmental level orientation sessions are held. Know your deans and know your HODs and all the faculty officers, so that when you print your proof of registration, you know where to take it to. Do not be too much excited about this orientation registration thing that you want to register at all costs. Registration is there for you. You are going to register. It is one of the most important things you have to do. So at this stage, I know we have gone through the process. I don't think it is important going over and over again. But what I want to ask that when you are done, you want to register, you have to first go to the university website, une.edu.gh, go to students portal, go to regular, and then go to forgot my password. Put in your index number and click send. It is going to send your username and password to you, and then you can go back and register. So this is the most important thing. I must assure you that at the Academic and Student Affairs Division, when you come later on, and tell stories about not being able to register, that is not going to be tolerated, because your being here should be a sign of your registration, or your registration should tell us that yes, you are here. Registration is the only thing, not your school fees. So you have to. So please, you are to comply with registration deadlines, because registration is not done all semester long. The deadlines are there. We have made those available. They will be available on the university website. We are also going to give these to the school officers, who will give you the registration deadlines at the schools. At this stage, do not be worried about the deadlines yet, because you have some time. So, freshmen and women, let me be gender sensitive. So, freshmen and fresh women, once again, you are welcome to the University of Energy and Natural Resources. Feel free, ask anybody if you find something difficult, but COVID is around and you have to respect all the protocols. Please do not endanger your life and that of your friends and family. Now, I always take this quotation from Longfellow, who said that the heights which are achieved by great men and kept, they are not just things which were achieved overnight, but this was that when their companions were sleeping, they were toiling deep into the night. Your being here is going to be successful when you burn the midnight candle. You have to take your work, academic work, seriously. Please do not allow all the other influences to distract your academic life here. We wish you all the best as you embark on your 2-year or 4-year journey to acquire a diploma or a degree. Thank you very much.
students, I'm going to give you the university, how you can use the university infrastructure, ICT, to enhance your academic work in this university. I am Nana Professor Kwasi Diewu, acting ICT Director. Now I'll tell you the university has ICT resources, and you will find it's housed in a small building. When you go into the main university administration, you'll find it on your left from town or from the main university. This is housed in Sunyani. That's where we have the main campus. Now this ICT center is restricted to students. The notice is already there. We are already there. You can come there with a note or accompanied by a staff. We will set up a help desk to help students, because ICT is what you're going to use in all your academic endeavor in the university. Now, let me start. The university has a fiber backbone, which is going to be improved very soon by enhancing or providing what we call a ring backbone to the university. So far as connectivity is concerned, we have a fiber backbone which is connected to almost all the main buildings on campus. You also have a wireless on campus. Access is across the main campus. Now, there is also going to be an improvement in the wireless. You may find some intermittent problems with the wireless once in a while, but this will be improved very soon, even with the Vice Chancellor's, with the Vice President's initiative for providing free wireless to all tertiary institutions. And this process is ongoing. So far as internet is concerned, we won't have problems with internet. Now, the sources that we have here, at the moment, we have what we call 1STM. That is, we provide 155 megabit per second as a bandwidth from Vodafone. And then we also have same 155 from what we call Garnet. Garnet is Ghana Academic Research Network. So that is where we have another. And students are also being provided, as the Dean of Students said, a bundle will be given to students where they will pay small, but they will also have to, they can use those ones to access the internet. Now, there are several computers. What we have, a computer lab available at the computer lab, where it is used for teaching purposes. Now, in accessing the internet, you can also bring your own device to access, having given the access. That's a password and then the login credentials. Now, what we don't want is that when you are giving the password and login credentials, sharing this with non-students from outside. That will not be accommodated on campus. Now, you have almost all your teaching materials online. Most of them will be online due to the COVID that we have. You know, we have problems with the now face-to-face is going to have a challenge, so we have to always go on online. So that is what you're going to use. But we will urge you to use the network that we have here mainly for academic purposes. You access materials on site, you can use for various university campuses where you have materials, you can download them. You can have lecture material from YouTube's. Other universities, as I said already, also you can have materials from them. Other sites may be conferences, journals, and then also you can establish study groups, other class or study group. And as I said, you will need the internet. The resources that we have here, we have to use in such a way that will enhance your study. Remember, in where you're coming from secondary school and co, you hardly use your material. It's almost always maybe on hard copy, and some places you will need to have it on soft copy. But here, as you'll be told later, you are an adult. You're supposed to lecture, not to teach. And in lecturing, you will do most of it. You have to find material. We don't want you to find material and challenge lecturers. You can do that when you have concrete materials. All will depend on what you use the internet for. So you urge you to make use of the internet that we have. I think the resources are adequate, and very soon there will be more than what you need. So the ball is in your own court. What do you do with what we have? As I said before, the ICT Center is a small building. We don't want you to frequently access the ICT Center. If you have any complaint, first of all, you go to the academics or your department. Academic tutors are there. Those are the ones you have to liaise with. And they will lead you to assess any problems that you have. But for the meantime, the help desk, as we said also, will be available to help students. But we urge you, don't troop into the ICT Center. You know of the COVID problems. So we urge you to adhere to the principles and the directions that we have given you. Thank you.
Good morning, all freshmen. My name is Salom from the IT Directorate of the University of Energy and Natural Resources. As my boss rightly mentioned, the IT Directorate is to take care of all your IT needs. And this will include your course registrations, accessing of the university assigned email, and all your examination result issues. Some of these you are not to be engaged directly with the IT. So it is only when a problem is beyond a department or whoever is concerned that the IT may have to come in and would have to help you. As you may all know, because of COVID-19, you are to take care, or you are going to be attending lectures in the blended mode, that is physical and online. So I'm going to take you basically through the process of how you can make use of the e-learning platform that the university is having. So if you go to the university website, you see the e-learning component that is running on Moodle. And for you to be able to have access to the e-learning platform, you would have to get you a username or your user details. So I will encourage all students to update your records as soon as possible. Most of you get registered, or during your admission process, you might have used somebody else's email or phone number in your registration process. But now that you are a student, you have to take responsibility of everything. So please make sure that your email or an email that you have access to is updated in the system, as well as your phone numbers, because you may have communication through these channels. So how are you going to access the e-learning platform? The first thing is we get you registered with your user details, which will be emailed to you. So you get your username and password through email. And when you get this, you proceed to get yourself registered onto the system. You have to activate your account in the system. So when you access the system, you would have to get enrolled onto programs that are available to you. So if you should get programs available to you, you would have to look out for programs that are available in your school and in your department based on the course coding. So assuming you are in School of Science, you have to look out for School of Science and the courses that are run under School of Sciences, and also narrow down to department level. Then you get enrolled onto that particular course. Getting enrolled onto a program or a course would take three forms. That is where you are allowed to enroll by yourself. The first step, you are allowed to enroll by yourself. So you search and then you get enrolled onto that particular course. Or you are sent the access key of that program. Then you use the key to access that course when you log into the Moodle platform. Or the lecturer or the course coordinator may have to enroll you onto the program. So in that case, you don't have to enroll yourself, but you are enrolled onto the course and you get a notification that you have been enrolled to this course. So take note of this. But in most cases, or as is applicable now, you would have to enroll yourselves onto all the courses that you are taking. So the courses may either be in your department or in another department, assuming there is a course or a general course that all of you are taking, and maybe different lecturers are taking that course, you would have to locate your lecturer or the one who is taking the course that you are enrolled onto. So maybe there's a general course and you are in Department of Languages that you are taking. You would have to make sure that the lecturer taking the course of Department of Languages, you enroll to that, because there can be, or there are occasions where different lecturers might be taking the same course. So please take note. And when you come to the e-learning platform, you would also have the flexibility to submit assignments online. So to be able to submit assignment online, you would have to either type the assignment on the platform, or you can upload the assignment through any means of documentation that the platform accepts. So if maybe it's an Excel format, Word format, PDF format, so you look out for the formats that the platform accepts, or the required format that the lecturer would ask you to submit the assignment. So you take note of that. And also there might be instructions attached to your assignments. So please watch out for any instructions that would come with your assignments that you'll be given, or even your course materials. There can be restrictions that until you finish with a unit, you cannot move to the next unit. So take note of that, so that you may not be complaining that I can access unit 1 but I cannot access unit 2. There may be restrictions that until you meet the requirements of unit 1, you may not be able to move on to unit 2. So take note of that also. And also there is a provision for chat or discussion platform. So in there can be an open forum for you to make contributions, or you interact with your course coordinator. So you can ask questions, even though it might not be real time, but any question that bothers you, you ask, and your colleagues may be able to see that this person asked a question, and once it is addressed, the instructor or your colleagues will be able to see that the problem has been addressed, and all the necessary queries that would emanate from there, it will be answered as such. And also, you will have live classrooms, mainly via Zoom. So the Zoom is linked to the Moodle platform. So when, assuming a lecturer schedule a class, the class details will be shared via the Moodle platform. Assuming the class is supposed to be conducted via Zoom, but the details will be shared on the Moodle platform. So as you log into that course, you get hold of the Zoom details, and then you will be able to join the class as and when the lecturer or the course coordinator or the host starts the live section, so that you can attend such live classes online. And also there's a flexibility to have exams online via the Moodle platform. So you can have exams even though it is online, but you can be monitored. And also you would have time bound for the examination or an assignment, if maybe, or a quiz or test, if the lecturer would want to conduct such online. It can be time bound. It's not that maybe because it is online, so it is freely available to you at your will, nothing like that. It can be time restricted, so you are timed And as and when the time is exhausted, then you are cut off. So please take note of this, and we are there to support you. If there's any challenge, please make use of the communication. We will send you your details via email that you would have to get access. And if you have any challenge, please revert or reply the email that will be sent to you with the queries that you have, and then we will respond accordingly. Or if you have any challenge during your discussions, you can also ask, and then your lecturers will relate or will communicate such to us, and we would help you. So feel free, we are there for you, and we will do everything possible so that all your learning through the e-platform will be made easy and accessible to you always. I thank you, and if there is any question, we are here to answer them. Thank you.
Hello. All right. Good morning, students. I hope you are all doing well. Let me also add my voice to welcome you once again to the University of Energy and Natural Resources. I am Dr. Alex Akwesi Opoku, the Acting Director for Quality Assurance and Academic Planning Directorate. I'm here to talk to you about quality assurance, and more specifically, I'll be discussing with you issues bordering on students' assessment of lecturers. But before I do that, let me give you some brief information about what quality assurance stands for. I hope you have heard many times a statement like doing the right thing at the right time. We are always admonished to do the right thing always at the right time. But the question here is, what do we consider or what do we call the right time? So this is where I want to start my whole discussion from. In quality assurance, the word quality has a lot of meanings. If you Google for yourself, quality has different interpretations. And one of them is doing the right thing at the first opportune moment. So doing the right thing at the first time. So the right time that we made reference to earlier on is the first opportune moment that you get to do the right thing. And if you do that, whatever you do, we say is of quality. So quality means doing the right thing at the first time. Our directorate is about assuring quality, ensuring that in all what we do at the university, at each and every moment, we seek to do the right thing the first moment. So that is the take-home message for you regarding quality assurance. Today, I want to discuss briefly with you students' assessment of lecturers. I think for some of you, this might sound strange because per your experience, most of the time, it is rather teachers who are assessing students. But in our particular situation, students are rather going to assess lecturers. So for us to understand what this whole assessment is about, we should dig into what assessment is all about. So my first question that I'm going to pose to all of you is, what is assessment? And in order not to waste your time, let me offer you the following definition of assessment taken from a work that was done by Huber and Fried in 2000. They say that assessment is the process of gathering and discussing information from multiple and diverse sources in order to develop a deep understanding of what students know, understand, and can do with their knowledge as a result of their educational experiences. And the process culminates when assessment results are used to improve subsequent learning. So here we are looking at a lecturer, an educator, or a teacher assessing a student. And one important thing that I want you to take from this definition is that assessment is not a one-time activity. It is a process. It is a process. It starts from somewhere. It has to go through several phases, and it has to end at a given point. So assessment is not a lecturer. It's not only about a lecturer giving you a quiz, a homework, or you writing the final examination. That is just a minute aspect of what assessment means. So assessment is a process. So it's a process that lecturers uses to gather, analyze information from different sources, and that information is used to evaluate students' understanding, students' knowledge, and students' ability to apply the knowledge that they have acquired in their daily lives. And the key point is that this whole process should result in improving subsequent learning. The lecturer is supposed to learn something out of it that he or she can use to improve on the learning experience of students. So that is what assessment is from a lecturer's perspective. So from that perspective, assessment has 4 different components. And the first component I wish to discuss with you is the phase where a lecturer sits in his office or in his home, reflects on what he or she is going to teach students. And in that reflection, he formulates statements of intended learning outcomes for the students. Out of these intended outcomes, he develops or selects what we call assessment measures. And these assessment measures are usually what we misconstrue as assessment. It's part of assessment, but it's not the only aspect of assessment. This is where we tell you what we are going to use to measure performance. Assignments, quizzes, mid-semester examinations, and so on and so forth. The university exams officer will have an opportunity to discuss with you issues on examination. So let me not go into so much details on this aspect. And then after setting out the outcomes and developing measurement for assessment, the next thing is that the lecturer is supposed to think or reflect on how he's going to create experiences which will lead to achievement of the outcomes. So these are the things that the lecturer has to do on his part to ensure that proper learning takes place. Then at the end of the semester, everything is put together. The lecturer reflects on the outcomes or the outputs of students, and he or she learns from that outcome, and then he uses it in the future to develop or to improve on his teaching. So this is how assessment is from the lecturer's perspective. So let us now flip the coin and look at how students are also going to do if they are to look at if they are to assess lecturers. So in this case, assessment for students is also a process, the same as what I read to you earlier on. But whatever used to be a lecturer now has become a student, and whatever used to be a student has now become a lecturer. And then students were supposed to learn, but lecturers are also supposed to teach. So the whole student assessment process is supposed to result in the lecturer's improvement in his or her teaching. So this is what we want from you. You are supposed to dissect into our teaching methodologies, our mode of delivery, our mode of assessment, the objectives or the outcomes that we set for you in our course outlines, whether we were able to achieve those things. And your assessment should help us to improve on our subsequent teaching. So at our directorate, we have some instruments that we use to assess a lecturer's performance, or students use to assess a lecturer's performance. And on that instrument, there are 4 main components that has 4 main components. The first one is the course presentation, the staff's bearing in classroom, mode of delivery, and finally, pedagogy. So let's look at some of the key questions that we will want you to ask under each of them. For example, under course presentation, we will require you to provide us with information how, whether the lecturer provided course outline or not. So the course outline is a document that the lecturer is going to produce to let you know the outcomes of that particular course, the content of the course, and what the lecturer will be teaching each and every week. And also in that document, the lecturer is supposed to tell you the mode of assessment, how he is going to assess your performance, either through exercises, homeworks, quizzes, mid-semester examinations, term papers, and so on and so forth. All these things will be spelled out in the course outline. So the first question we ask is that, has the lecturer provided you with a course outline? And if that is the case, that course outline come with the relevant reading materials and so on and so forth. So the questions that are posed here, you'll be required to answer them. And in answering them, we will plead with you to be sincere with us. Because if you provide us with wrong answers, we will end up taking wrong decisions. So the next one is the staff's bearing in class. And in this category, we want you to tell us whether the lecturer was punctual in class, whether he comes regularly or every 1 month he comes once and comes and tell you stories about Chelsea, how Chelsea managed to beat Nottingham Forest or whatever. We want you to be honest with us. Tell us whether the lecturer came and delivered according to the content that he has prescribed. Then under the mode of delivery, here too we ask questions like the following. Was the lecturer's delivery clear and understandable? Did the lecturer link lecture materials to practical applications? Let me emphasize on this. This doesn't mean you have to always do something in a laboratory. For example, in a mathematics course, a lecturer could give you a real-life application of a theory. That will be classified as a practical application. Practical application does not necessarily mean you going to a laboratory or you going to some lab or you going to some industry to practice whatever you have learned. So these and other questions are what you'll be required to answer under mode of delivery. Then we come to pedagogy. So this is where the actual teaching is coming into force. So here we will ask you to tell us whether the lecturer monitored your progress. For example, whether the lecturer was constantly checking on attendance. This is very important because in this university, as you learn from the university's exams officer, if you don't attend minimum of 75% of lectures, you are not qualified to sit for university exams at the end of the semester. So please, lecturers will be taking attendance. And that helps you students to also be responsible in a sense that if you know that I will take attendance, then you'll be compelled to attend most of my lectures. And at the end of the semester, there is a mark that we also give for attendance. Exams officer will discuss some of these things with you. So it is important the lecturer monitors your progress through taking attendance, through giving you feedbacks on your homeworks, on your exercises, on your quizzes, so that you know where you went wrong, and so on and so forth. And we also ask questions like, did the lecturer give assignments or homeworks or quizzes, and so on and so forth. So these are the questions that you'll be required to answer under pedagogy. So as you can see, these are questions that border on every aspect of the course. So right from the beginning of the semester to the end of the semester. So for you to be able to do a good assessment for us, this means you have to take active part in each and every activity of that course, so that at the end of it all, you will know how to do the course assessment. And let me once again plead with all of you, when it comes to this exercise, we expect you to be as much as possible to be frank and objective with us. Tell us only the truth. If you don't tell us the truth, we will take wrong decisions that will lead to results that will not augur well for all of us. So on this note, let me once again congratulate all of you for your successful admission into our various programs. I believe you have heard enough from my colleagues, and the little that I've also added to you, you will take it in good faith. Ours is about you assessing your lecturers. And please be honest in such an assessment. I wish you well, and I hope we'll be meeting. I'll be meeting some of you in the various courses that you'll be following. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.
morning once again. We thank you for staying through up to this time. Good morning once again. We thank you for staying through up to this time. We have to break for, if you look at our schedule, we have to break for break. But considering the fact that we have just 2 presentations to make, which would have been in the afternoon, we want to do that now so that within 1 hour 15 minutes will be done, and then you can have the rest of the day to yourself. So please stay tuned as we take the 2 presentations. After the end of the 2 presentations, we'll be done for the day, and then we will continue tomorrow. The next presentation will be on university examinations, rules and regulations. And the presenter is ready to take us through. When he takes the seat, he will introduce himself to you and take it from there. After his presentations, we will come in with announcements, and then we will be done for the day. Thank you. Yes, 2 more presentations to be done. And then after that, we will come in with announcements, and then we'll be done for the day. So please, don't be in a hurry to go anywhere. Just sit down and take the appropriate notes.
Okay, good morning, everyone, particularly to my dear first years or freshers on campus. My name is Johnson de Graft Ankama. I am the University Examinations Coordinator, and it is a privilege to meet you this time to take you through the conduct of examinations in this university, the rules, and the grading system we are using. It's going to be a brief presentation, but of course a very important exercise. You all know that we are here as students for the major activity being going through some form of assessment so we can achieve what we came here for, the certificates. So to get this certificate, you need to pass through several examinations from your first year, first semester, through to when your program will end. You would realize very soon that ending a program does not necessarily mean ending the first 4 years or your 4-year program or going through the 2 years for the diploma. But when every condition is satisfied for getting your certificate. I would begin by saying that university examinations is a bit different from what you might have experienced from your various senior high institutions. The distinction here is that the in senior high, the teachers who taught you are not the ones who set the questions for the WAEC examination. They are not the ones who marked your papers. And you are likely to meet people who are not even in this institution invigilating the examination. But when you come to university, the lecturer who taught you is the same person who is going to set the questions, is the same person who is going to mark and produce the results, the marks for upload. And so you see that there is no way a lecturer can walk into an exam center and begin to whisper into your ears. Question 1, the answer is A. Question 2, the answer is B. Question 3, the answer is C, or whatever. So clearly, over here, it is very clear that no invigilator or a lecturer will condone any form of examination malpractice. I just want to start this way so that you know that there is no way for you to have an easy way of passing exams other than you preparing very well for your examination. Prepare very well, know the rules that we are going to discuss in this short, about 30 minutes, and prepare very well for your examination. Don't go to the exam center ill-prepared, for it will cost you a lot. That is my introduction. Again, I want to say that we need to move away from where, as students, we see examinations as a do-or-die affair. Go into examination with all sincerity and go and write your exams in peace. If you are failing, as I told the graduate students yesterday, Saturday, if you are failing, go and fail honorably. And if you are passing, pass diligently. And then you will be happy that this certificate is mine. It shouldn't be a certificate of people, but it should be your own certificate, something that you worked for, and at the end of the day, you see that you'll be very proud of yourself. I want to see a day where we will all walk into exam center, we take our question papers, take our answer booklets, and even the invigilators walk out of the room, and we will still have a fair examination conducted. Examination where nobody will whisper to the other, nobody will stretch his or her neck to look for information, but we will all write it and answer all our questions or questions that we can and leave the exam center peacefully. I want us to move to a point where even somebody attempting to help you in examination, you, the students, in need of that help, will rather push the person aside and warn him after the examination that, please allow me to fail. I will go and learn and come back and pass. Don't do that again. Next time if you do it, I will report you. That is where we will have to go to. That is the extent that we need, or the level that I want Ghanaian examinations to be seen or to get to. Or that is the kind of students I would love to have in UNE. Again, I want to see where somebody will just say, yeah, I believe I have not prepared well. And so this examination that I'm going to write, I think I have to fail. And you know that you are failing not because somebody has failed you, but because you know you have failed. These are some of the things I want you to ponder about as you enter into the university, particularly for our examinations. So my brothers and sisters, examinations in university is a serious business, and invigilators who are coming really, really mean business. I want to tell you that it is an activity that to me is seen not as an activity that the lecturers are bound to do, or indirectly, let me put it this way, that they are employed specially to come and do that activity. Because some time back, we were even giving lecturers appointment letter for coming to invigilate our papers or examination. So that means that you are being treated like a different person altogether. You are not there just because you are a worker on campus, but because the university has seen them as credible to invigilate our papers or examinations. So when you go into exams room, it's a serious business, and see it as such. For the examination rules, first of all, I want you, when you get your handbook, if you will not read anything at all, please go to page 38 to 46. Get yourself acquainted with the rules governing examinations. Make sure you understand every bit of it. If you don't understand anything, just approach the examination team, your department exams officer, the school exams officer, and myself for the university level, and we will explain every rule that is stated in the handbook for you to be clear. Make sure you understand our grading system so that you would also be able to plan how to learn, because the grading system will help you to know where to learn, or sorry, what to actually look out for in order to get what you want. Like if you are looking for first class at the end of your program, or you are aiming at first class at the end of your program, what do I score in order to get that first class? You need to acquaint yourself with the grading system of the university as well. But I'll briefly go through some of them. The structure of our examination is in two parts. We have the continuous assessment part and the end of semester examination part. The continuous assessment as it is entails the following: the mid-semester examination, which could be a sit-down exams or a practical examination or both, depending on the nature of that particular course. Class tests, tutorials attendance, assignments, and of course attendance in general. So all these put together will give you 40 marks for continuous assessment. Then the end of semester examination will constitute 60% of the whole assessment. The date for end of semester examination and mid-semester examinations are always clearly stated on the university's academic calendar. And if you go to the website as I speak, the calendar has been broadcasted or posted over there. And so you will be able to know when we will write mid-semester examinations as first years and when you would write your end of semester examinations. It is your duty as a student to get to know the timetable for examinations. Make sure you copy your portions carefully and follow them carefully. Make sure you are aware of when you are writing examination, I mean the dates and the time as well. We usually go 2 sessions in a day. There are times that we do 3 sessions. So when the timetable is released, please take your time. Pick all the courses that you are writing. Note the date, the day of the exams, the hour or the period or the session for that particular examination, the venue of the examination. These are the 3 key information that will be given through that timetable that will be circulated weeks before the start of the examination. But note that mid-semester examination, there is a general period within which the lecturer can conduct his or her examination. Examination results at the end of all the activities will be published on the university, the students' academic portal, or it could even be on the notice boards. Grading system. As I said, the university has adopted the grade point average grading system, which puts students in a group and assigns a grade point to that, or puts marks in a particular bracket and assigns a grade point to that mark. And then numerical grades are as follows. 80 to 100 is A, and that gives you 4.0 points. 75 to 79.99 is B plus, and it gives you 3.5. 70 to 74.99 is B and gives you 3.0. 65 to 69.99 is C plus and it gives you 2.5. 60 to 64.99 is C and it's 2.0. 55 to 59.99 is 1.5. And 45 to 54.99 is D and that gives you 1. If you are familiar or if you have seen any of our old handbook as a fresher, you would realize that in the old handbook, this 45 to 54.99 comes in two parts, where you have the 45, it comes as 50 to 54.99, which was given them, those students before you, 1.0, and then 45 to 49.99 was given them, or will be given them. I think they will continue with that grading system, 0.5. So I think that you are very fortunate to have this new grading system, where 45 to 54.99 have all been put together and weighted 1.0. I think it's a big advantage to you, meaning at the end of your program, if you pass through with even all D's, you are still likely to get your certificate, because you get a certificate if your grade point average is more than 1 or more. But previously, where the 0.5 grade was there, it was obviously clear that if you can even pass all examinations but will still not get a certificate if your passes were only E and the D's, or the 0.5 and the 1s. In that case, your average will definitely not be more than 1 or equal to 1. But fortunately for you, as first years, the good academic board has given you this offer. And I want to expect that all of you will take advantage of it and will not do anything or lose the opportunity of getting a certificate at the end of your program. With the grade points, as stated, this is what we're going to do to determine the kind of certificates that you're going to get. So I'm going to spend some time to take you through what the management system will be doing to determine the kind of certificate that you are going to get. So first we start with grade point earned. So I have given you the various grade points in my previous slide, and I'm going to tell you what we're going to use those grade points to do to determine the kind of certificate that you are going to get at the end of the day or at the end of your program. The grade point earned is computed from the credit hours that is determined by the department. You can see a certain column. So this particular student, I'm assuming the student took only 2 courses in that semester, UNE 105 and Math 101. Then the credit hours that has been determined by the department, UNE 105 is 2 and Math 101 is 3. This student scored 72 in UNE 105, and that gives him a grade point of 3 from the previous slide. Then he scores 85 in Math 101, which gives him 4.0 because it is A. So look at the last column as you see on your screen. That column is a product of the credit hour, which is 2, and the grade point which was assigned to, or which has been assigned to the mark the student had, 3, and giving you 6. This calculation has been done carefully in your handbook. So when you get a handbook, you would again appreciate it over there. So again, you see 3 times the 4 gives me 12. So with that, I can now sum up the grade points. And this sum of the credit hours gives me 5. Then the sum of the grade point ends gives me 8. So with those two numbers, 18. So 18 and the 5 is what we're going to use to determine the kind of certificate or the kind of classification the student is going to get. So the GPA that the student is starting his program with, that's the first semester, first year, is going to be computed from the 18, which is the sum of all the grade point ends, divided by the total of all credit hours that you have read. And that gives us 18 divided by 5, which is 3.60. So this, according to the classification, is a first class. So even though it is not a final classification, we can say that this student is starting with what? A first class. So let's go to the next stage. Cumulative grade point average. Cumulative. I'm very sure all of you are familiar with the cumulative frequency curve, how you came about your cumulative frequencies. So the same thing here. We are going to cumulate all your grade points that you are getting every semester. And the cumulative, the final cumulative grade point is what is going to be used to determine the kind of classification you are going to get for your certificate. So cumulative grade point average is the average of all grade points and up to the time that we are calculating this cumulative grade point average, or CGPA. So if it is at the end of the second semester, then it starts from first semester of first year down to the second semester of second year, if it is at the end of the second year, second semester. So if it is at the end of third year, first semester, then it starts from the first semester of first year all the way to the first semester of third year. So cumulative, as you were doing. So look at the illustration. So the second semester, this student now takes 3 courses. Course A, Course B, Course C. Credit hours 233. Then the student scores 92, 82, 60. And so the grade points over there are 4, 4, and 2. So as we did previously, we multiply 2 by 4 gives us 8, 3 by 4, 12, 3 by 2 gives us 6. Then we add all the grade point ends to give us what? 26. All credit hours read gives us 8. So the next row, you can see that I have done some cumulative grade points over there. So the previous 5 plus the current 8 gives us 13. And look at the last column too. The previous 18 plus the current 26 gives us 44. So first, when you go to your student portal, you will see that there is a semester GPA. So for the second semester of first year, for that student we are dealing with, his or her second semester GPA is going to be computed from the 26 and the 18. Those were the values scored in only the second semester. And that is going to be 26 divided by 8, which gives him or her 3.25. So that is for only that semester. Then, because it is now a second semester, we can now compute the cumulative average. And this time, it is coming from the cumulative values. So we are using the 44 divided by the 13. And that gives us 3.38. Note that it is the cumulative values that we are going to use to classify your certificates. And so, this student started with first class, which was 3.6, but now the cumulative average is now 3.38, meaning he has moved out of first class into the second class upper range. You can go on and on and on to use several examples. So the third semester, then the semester average is 2.06. Cumulative comes out as 2.88. It means that the student is gradually falling. I'm using this to let you know that if you over-enjoy in university, you might lose your average as well. Note, look at this new slide. The third course over there, that student scores 40, which is below pass mark, meaning he scored 0 over there. And that tells you that he did not get any grade point. He did not earn any grade point. So the grade point earned there is 0, meaning he has done 2 credit hours additional to the cumulative credit hours, but the cumulative grade point earned, he couldn't add anything. And that is very dangerous. Immediately you get F in your semester, it costs you a lot, because the credit hours will be counted, but the grade point earned, nothing will be added, because the grade point for F or fail is 0. So as for the credit hours, it will be counted, but the grade point, you control that part of it, because you are the one who is going to write the examination. So if you decide to go for F, then it means that you are decided not to add anything to the numerator. But for the denominator, the university has already determined that for you, and it will be added. So take note of that. The final, at the end of your program, the final cumulative GPA, or the cumulative grade point average, is what will be used, or what will be called final grade point average, and will be used to classify your certificate. Note that at the end of a program does not necessarily mean at the end of the first 4, or at the end of your 4 years, or at the end of your 2 years if you are reading diploma. But what that means is that you have satisfied all the requirements for certificates after, on the 4th year, or even after, because very soon you get to know that there are great grace period for those who are not able to achieve the grade point average necessary to be given a certificate, or could not pass all the examinations within the first 4 years. You will be given some years called the grace period to redeem yourself. I talked about classification of certificates. This is how your certificate will be classified. For diploma, distinction is 3.00 to 4.00. And note that if you are here reading diploma and you want to continue your program, the distinction will allow you to enter 3rd year when you are offered admission to continue. What that means is that you are likely to achieve your first degree certificate using the same 4 years as someone who entered the program as a degree student straight away. So it is something that I always advise my diploma students to aim at, so that at the end of the day, you will get your first degree certificate within the same 4 years as your colleagues who were given the first degree program right from scratch. So you aim at 3.0 or better, which is 3.0 to 4.0, so that after the diploma, you go to 3rd year to join the degree students in 3rd year. And so you add 2 more years and you get your first degree certificate, meaning you're going to get it within the same 4 years. But if you settle for 1.00 to 2.99, then your certificate will be classified as pass. In that case, you can enter 2nd year if you want to continue the program with our university. So you enter into 2nd year, meaning you are going to add 3 more years to be able to get a first degree certificate. But if your final GPA falls below 1, then we say thank you. We don't have any certificate for you. So if it falls below 1 and you don't have any fails, meaning you have passed all your examinations, but your final GPA is less than 1, we don't have any certificate for you. It's rather unfortunate. You may have passed through the program for 2 years or even more, but we will not be able to give you any certificate. But assuming at the end of the 2 years you are a little below 1, but have some papers to write as fails or incomplete, then you'll be allowed some time to write those papers. If at the end of writing or passing those papers you get more than one, we give you the certificate. But if you are still below the one after this grace period given to you, we will still again tell you, we are sorry, we don't have a certificate for you. Okay, let me quickly pause and answer one question that has just come in. What is credit hours? Credit hours is simply a weight assigned to the course that you are going to read. When I say weight, a lot of thinking goes into taking that decision. It doesn't necessarily mean one particular course is more important than the other. It has to do with the content of the course and what it entails. And this credit hour is determined by the department and not you, the student. The credit hours are determined by the department. And very soon you would also realize that it indirectly becomes the number of hours that you are going to have with the lecturer, either face-to-face or face-to-face and online, as we are going to do this particular academic year. So if it is a 3 credit hour paper, you are likely to have a 3-hour interaction with the lecturer, both online and then face-to-face. It could also be 3 credit hour, but the contact hour could even be less or more. So as I said, it is a weight that has been determined by your department by considering the content of the course and all other things that comes into play for that particular course. So as a student, you don't have control over the credit hours. What you control is the grades that you have to get, which will determine the numerator. As a mathematician, I will say that if you allow the denominator to increase faster than the numerator, then of course the results will be reducing. So since the denominator is controlled by the university and you don't control that, you have to work hard on the numerator where your grades are accumulated, so that whatever values the university gives to the denominator, because your numerator is very huge, you still get a very good result. So be very careful. Don't underrate any course. Don't think that this course is 2 credit hours and this is a 3 credit hour, and so I'm concentrating much on the 3 credit hour, leaving the 2. Please, that will be a very dangerous decision to make, because all courses contribute to the numerator. Even if it is 1 credit hour, it will still contribute to your numerator. Even if it doesn't have a credit, it has an effect on your person to become a good graduate for the world, or to make an impact in the world afterwards. So please, that is what I will briefly say about credit hours. So let's get back to the presentation now that you are clear with credit hours. So I was talking about classification of certificates. And the degree students, this is how your certificates are going to be classified. First class, 3.6 or better. So 3.6 to 4.00 will give you first class. Second class, the upper division, is .5 to 1.99. Then pass is 1.0 to 1.49. Fail is any final GPA that is below 1, as I explained earlier. So if at the end of your program, which I told you is not necessarily at the end of the 4 years, but at the end of the 4 years plus the grace period, if all your passes still gives you something below 1, then we cannot give you a certificate. So now that we are clear with the grading system and how we are going to be awarded marks or grades and the classification of our certificates, let's move into some of the rules governing the examinations on campus. If you are in level 200 and you have been repeated before, and you find yourself in a position where you have to be repeated again, the university will say goodbye to you. We will withdraw you. Any repeated student who obtains a GPA that is also less than 1 will also be withdrawn from the university. So take note of these points. Withdrawal is very, very, very is very live in the university. We actually withdraw a lot of students based on performance. So be very careful with your studies, or study very hard so that you will not find yourself in that particular bracket. Any student who absents himself or herself from examination of all courses for a semester without a permission will be deemed to have abandoned the program. That one is a direct withdrawal. Nobody will tell you, but you have already abandoned the program. So right away, immediately you fail to attend to all our examinations in a particular semester, you have automatically withdrawn yourself. If you end your grace period, as I said, for 4-year program, you have 2 years more. For a 2-year program, you have a year or 2 semesters of grace period. If at the end of your grace period you still don't qualify for certificate, then automatically you have also withdrawn yourself from the program. So that is some withdrawals. In course of your studies, you can decide to defer the program. And this deferral of program means that for some reason you want to put your studies on hold for some time and come back later. This one, the main reason that deferral of program will be granted is when you are ill or you fall sick. So you can defer the program when you fall sick in course of your study, or for any other reason other than ill health. But for that, you would have to convince your head of department as well as the dean of your school, who will then advise the university either to grant the deferral or interruption of your program or not. For first-year students whom I'm actually speaking to today, you are not qualified for any deferral other than ill health. So for first-year students, you can only defer your program, or you only be allowed to defer your program when you fall sick or you fall ill and you cannot continue. But this one will have to be certified by a doctor. You don't just walk in and say, I'm sick or I'm ill, and so I cannot continue the program. Defer me. No. But it has to be certified by a doctor or a medical doctor. For ill health, you may be granted a deferral for more than 1 year. But if it is not ill health, then the maximum duration you can defer your program is 1 year, which is 2 semesters. But let me also emphasize that you may not be allowed to defer a semester, or you will not be allowed to defer a semester. And when you settle down, you would understand why. Because if you defer the second semester of first year in a particular academic year, the following academic year, you come to third year, or let me start with the second year, because first years you are not allowed. So if you are to allow you to defer your first semester of second year, Then second semester of second year, you come to school. The next academic year, that first semester, which level are you going to? Are you going to your second year first semester, or you go to third year first semester? For that reason, we will not allow you to defer for a semester. So whenever you are requesting for deferral, note that that deferral will run for at least an academic year. Or it will be, if it is ill health, then it will be, as a mathematician would say, a multiple of 2 semesters. So it means that it will only be 1 year, 2 years, or 2 semesters, 4 semesters, 6 semesters, depending on how long you forsake. So that is deferral of a program. For deferral of examination, this usually happens when you have gone through the entire semester of program, where you have attended all your lectures, you have qualified to write the examination because you attended at least 70% or 75% of lectures. So, but on the day of examination or some days before the examination, you fall ill and could not come for the exams. If you are certified as not in a position to write the examination by a medical doctor, you will be granted deferral of that particular examination. So in that case, it is that in that particular case, we are talking about that particular examination. So it will be declared as incomplete, and the next available time, you write that exams. So for deferral of examination, as I said, it is for ill health. If it is not ill health, then once again, you would have to meet your head of department, convince the head of department with whatever reasons that you have. The head of department will further meet the dean of your school, who will then advise the university whether to grant you that deferral of examination or not. In all forms of deferrals, please make sure you receive a written response from the registrar before you embark on any journey to your home or wherever you might be. If you are ill and you are not in a position to come to campus to even initiate the process of deferral, please find someone, a family member or a relative, or it could even be a colleague on campus or a friend. Let the person initiate the deferral for you and make the necessary follow-ups until the registrar responds to your requests. Nobody will be allowed to enter the university or after you have absented yourself for a period you think you have deferred. If it happens like that, the university will declare you as having abandoned the program, and for that matter, you will not be allowed to come back to the university. So please take note of that. We have been encountering this problem several times because students don't take this particular note that important. They just write to maybe the HOD that, oh, the head of department, that I want to defer, and that's it. Whether the letter met the requirement of the HOD to forward it to the dean and subsequently to the registrar for response, they don't do those follow-ups. So you might come back thinking you have deferred, but your letter might be lying somewhere in the pipeline. So please, I am advising all of you, if it happens that you have to request for deferral, be it examination or the entire program, please make sure you receive a written response from the registrar's office before you embark on such deferral. Let's take note of some of the rules governing our examination. All students are advised to take note of the regulations well written in our handbooks. When you get the handbook, please, as I told you, read carefully the examination part and be sure that you you understand them. You will not be allowed to enter our examination if you have not registered for the exams. Registration for examination is tied in with registration for the program. So as the head of academics department or unit told you, you would be allowed to register for all your program or the courses that you are going to read this semester. Please take it very seriously and then make sure you register for all the courses that you are going to read. Don't just attend the lectures. Register for the program so that when it's examination, your name will appear on our attendance sheet, and that is when you'll be allowed into our examination rooms. So if you are not registered for the program, and for that matter for the examination, you will not be allowed to write the exams. If you owe fees, maybe this time around the university is giving you some flexible payments plan. So it means you might be owing fees in the first semester. That is, you may be owing 50% or less for the first semester, and you'll be allowed to write. But for the second semester, if you don't redeem those owings, then you will not be qualified to write the examination. If you are on suspension, you can't write our examination. If you have been dismissed, of course, you are not part of the university anymore, so you will not be allowed to write the examination. One very important rule that you should take note of is that if you come to the examination hall 30 minutes after the commencement of the examination, you will not be allowed to enter. Immediately we start the exams, 30 minutes after that, you will not be allowed to enter the examination hall. This is not where a teacher will tell you, oh, you sit down and write. If it is time I'm collecting my papers, if you have only one question answered, I don't care. Here, it is not like that. Here, immediately we start our examination and you are not there 30 minutes afterwards, you will not be allowed to enter the examination hall. Before examination, our timetable will be released. And as I said earlier, the timetable will carry several information, but the most important is when the examination will be conducted, I mean the day, the particular time or session, the room or the hall that you are going to write your examination, the hall that you are going to write your examination. The university reserves the right to change the timetable, but in doing so, we're going to do that at least 24 hours before that particular examination, and it will be circulated widely for you to be. So don't joke with notice boards on campus. That is where every information will pass through or will be posted. So whenever you are passing by notice board, please at least stretch your neck to read something from there, or any circular that will come from your SRC. We at times use them to also disseminate information. So make sure you read your notice board, especially during examination, because any changes that will happen will be posted on your notice board. All candidates shall report to the examination center 30 minutes before start of examination. This is very important. 30 minutes before the start of examination, our able invigilators will be around. They will be at the center, and they will spend about that 30 minutes before the examination to usher you all into the rooms, get you seated, question papers distributed, answer booklets distributed. So within that 30 minutes is the time for distribution or sharing of question papers and answer booklets. And then, right on time, we start our examination. So if the exams is at 8 a.m., please don't wait till 8 a.m. to start your journey from your halls. You have to start the journey around 7 a.m. so that by 7:30 you are at the center, and the invigilators will usher you into the various halls for the examination. You are obliged to sit at where you have been designated to sit, or your index number has been posted. Because by the time you get to the exams room, you will see that all the tables have index numbers. Please and please don't make any attempt to change your sitting position. The university follows particular rule or particular arrangement in putting the index numbers. And when you make any changes, we will be able to fish you out, and the necessary sanctions will be given. It is an offense not to use the seat assigned to you. So take note of that. Don't try to change your seats when you enter the examination hall. You are supposed to come with your ID card, which will identify whom you are, and you are to show it to the invigilator or the security man at the gate, who will actually, after the inspection, allow you into the exams hall. So like I said earlier, the first 30 minutes before the exams is for all these exercises. So you come with your ID card, show it to the security man or the invigilator for that particular hall, and he will allow you to enter the examination. Immediately we start the paper, you will not be allowed to leave the examination hall in the first 30 minutes. So the whole idea is that in that first 30 minutes, somebody who has not come might still be outside. So in the same way, that first 30 minutes you cannot go, so that we will avoid any form of interaction between you and the one who has not entered the classroom yet. So after first 30 minutes, the person will now not be allowed to enter. So at this time, you who is in can now be given a permission to go. But in this case, you are likely to be given a security escort, because you are a very important person during exams. Immediately you enter the exams, you are examination person. So when you are leaving, briefly, either to the washroom or for any reason, you will be given a security man to accompany you to that particular place. So as I said, if you finish your examination, you have, in the last 30 minutes, you will not be allowed to leave. But if you are leaving, you will be given a security escort, or the security man will accompany you. You are not to start your examination until you are told to do so. Please, rules are rules, and it is an offense to flout any of our examination rules. So please take note of that. Writing on the answer booklet before the start of examination is also an offense. Until you are told to start filling your answer booklets, please don't do so. The invigilator will announce when to start, and follow that strictly. No candidate shall take into the examination hall or have in his or her possession during the examination any of the following: textbooks, unless it is permitted by the examiner for that particular paper. That is, if the exams is declared as an open book examination, then you will be allowed to bring those books or printed materials. Hats, bags, pencil cases, or your cases, mobile phones, programmable calculators, palm-top computers or computers, unless it is a course that demands the use of computers, scanners, or any electronic gadgets that you might have. If they are confiscated, the invigilator will submit them as exhibits for further investigation, because they become the property of the university. and you will be called to face the examination malpractice committee, and those things will be used as exhibits during this interaction. And when everything settles down and you are found guilty, of course, those things will continue to be with the university, and we reserve the right to destroy them. So, you have to be very careful with our examinations. You are to write all examinations with your index numbers. Currently, you have your student reference number, and very soon you will be given your student index numbers or the examination numbers. Please write all your examinations using those numbers. Don't use your name. Under no circumstance should a candidate use their names during examinations. It is an offense to use your name during examination. So please take note of that and adhere to it strictly. Don't write your name on any of the papers. Answer booklets, question papers, don't write your name on them. If you need a permission to go out, please seek that permission from the invigilator. He's the one in charge of the examination center during examination, and you have to seek the permission from him. Don't just walk out. That will also constitute an offense. And so please, make sure you follow the instructions of the invigilator in the room, who will actually tell you or give you permission either to go out for any activity. The time for this brief permission to go out, or the time or the duration, will be determined by the invigilator. So he will tell you how many minutes you can spend on that activity you are going to do during that examination. It is an offense to pass notes or seek any other information or make any form of solicitation from other candidates during examination. Even stretching of your neck, if the invigilator is able to prove, you will be in trouble. Note that we are in a very high technological world where cameras are everywhere. If he's able to prove with even pictures of you trying to take advantage of the examination, stretching your neck and doing any gestures that will mean an unfair advantage, taking unfair advantage of the examination, please, you will be sanctioned appropriately. So, take note of that. For the purpose of these regulations, a candidate may attract the attention of the invigilator by raising up your hand during examination, which is done at all levels. You shall not pass or attempt to pass any information or instrument to other candidates during exams. If it is a mathematics examination, please make sure you go to the exams hall with your calculator if you need one. For no invigilator will collect a calculator from another student for you. No invigilator, I repeat, will collect somebody's calculator for you. Even rule, pencils, whatever instrument you need for the examination, it is not within the exams hall that you are coming to ask for it from a friend. No invigilator will allow you to do so. You should not make any attempt to copy from another candidate. And you should also not put your paper in a way that will allow someone to copy from you. That is also an offense if the invigilator is able to prove that. Because at the end of every examination, the Vice Chancellor will set up a committee to investigate all forms of examination malpractices that came up, and anyone that will be presented by the invigilators or the chief invigilators will face that committee and exhibit will be used, or exhibit presented by the invigilators will be used. So don't try to make any attempt to copy. Don't try to help someone to copy from you, for they are all offense during examination. It is an offense to take any material given to you away. It could be the answer booklets and the question paper, but for the answer booklets, please never make any attempt to take our answer booklets away. They are not yours. They are properties of the university, or it is our property. So you are only to write in and hand it over to the invigilator. So don't take any used or unused answer booklets or supplementary sheets out of the exams hall, being it during mid-semester examinations or the final semester or end of semester examination. Please take note of that. It is an offense to be carrying our answer booklets around. So take notes and don't take any answer booklet away. If you finish examination before the stipulated time, please hand over your answer booklets to the invigilator before you leave the exams hall. And immediately you leave, you will not be allowed to come back, because you have declared yourself as having ended or finished your paper. So don't come back and say, oh, I forgot to write something and I want to continue. No. Immediately you hand over your answer booklets, that is it. You have finished your exams. You cannot smoke or eat in our exams halls, and you cannot violate those rules and go free. You are not supposed to eat in the exams hall. Please make sure all these rules, you actually follow them strictly during examination. For we will use the same rules during the examination malpractice committee, and the necessary sanctions will be applied if you are found guilty. So take note of that. These are some of the sanctions. Of course, you can be rusticated or sacked from the university. You can be suspended. You may be reprimanded or warned, and then your results might be on hold for some time. And these are all sanctions that the university can actually give for some examination malpractice, or for the examination malpractices. You are to present yourself decently during examinations. Please take note of that. Examination is a high-tension environment. So don't dress in any way that will distract anybody's attention. Please, to everyone, kindly let's help ourselves by dressing decently to our examination centers. Note that examination is an official gathering of the university, and you must present yourself as in an official manner, or in a decent manner. Please, decency is the key. So come very well dressed for our examinations. Don't dress in a way that will distract anybody during the examination. Malpractice cases we have sat on several malpractice cases, as I told you, during examinations or after every examination. The vice chancellor will set up a committee, and then the committee will meet all those involved in malpractices. And these are some of the cases that we dealt with in the year 2017 to 2019. We've not updated it with the 2020 numbers. But in that period, 3 students were withdrawn, 8 students were suspended for 2 years, with a grade Z, when we say grade Z, it means that all your papers have been cancelled for that particular semester. So if it is cancellation of the whole semester's examination plus 2 years, then indirectly you are going home for 3 years. Suspension for 1 year, we had 6 students in that bracket, and then a grade Z, they were also affected by grade Z. We cancelled about 6 students' papers, and then some were just reprimanded, and others were exonerated. So what I said is that when your case is presented to the committee, it doesn't necessarily mean you're automatically guilty. The committee will just sit, do some form of investigation, allow you to also present your side of the whole issue, and then afterwards, the necessary decisions will be taken after. Previously, we were withdrawing students for scoring GPAs of less than 1. But once again, this first year group, you are very fortunate. The academic board has agreed that instead of withdrawing you after first year without meeting the 1, you will be allowed to repeat that program, or you change the program. But of course, you will pay school fees. So if you are repeating that program or changing the program, then you are going to pay fees for the second time as a first year student. But in the 2018-2019 academic year, about 149 students fell under this particular, or fell in this particular bracket and were withdrawn. And so take note of that. It means that in your sense, it means that 149 students will be repeated, or would be repeated after the first year. And that is what we mean by 1 or less than 1. Before I end, let me pause to take these questions that have come in. One is, can you defer a program due to financial constraints? Yes, you can. And like I told you, this will fall in the bracket of reasons other than ill health. And so you would have to first of all meet your head of department, who will actually listen to your case. If it is finance, he will listen to you, and then you convince the head of department well that you really have a challenge financially, and for that matter, you want to defer the program. And so the head of department will forward the case to your dean of school, and the dean will also consider the case, and when convinced by the facts you have presented, will then advise the university to write to you or to grant you that deferral. So yes, you can defer your program on financial grounds, but don't just write or sit at home that I have not been able to pay my school fees, and for that matter I have deferred. No. If you fail to pay school fees, it means you will fail to register for the semester, and that means you will fall in the bracket of those who have voluntarily abandoned the program, or those who have abandoned the program, and for that matter, you will be withdrawn automatically. Another question that has come in is, which type of calculator is not allowed at the exams hall? I told you, programmable calculators, calculators that are declared as programmable, are not allowed, or what we usually refer to as graphical calculators are not allowed, as well as any form of tablet that can exhibit the qualities of a computer will definitely not be allowed. So you are not going to be allowed to use your phone as a calculator. So as you go into exams hall for any mathematics related any course that has mathematics content, please note that your phone is an illegal material in that exams hall, and for that matter, it cannot be used as a calculator. So try and get a calculator right from the beginning of your program so that you don't find yourself in a situation where you need a calculator in exams hall but will not have it, because no invigilator will collect one for you. So programmable calculators are not allowed in our examination hall. Computers may be allowed depending on the kind of course that you are coming to write and whether the examiner has declared that course as a course that needs a personal computer for the examination, or the examiner has allowed you to use personal computers. For all those information, the examiner will actually inform you ahead of time so that you come into the exams room with your laptops or personal computers. Before I end my presentation, let me tell you that you are students of University of Energy and Natural Resources, and for that matter, you will go home with a certificate bearing the name of University of Energy and Natural Resources. And that is the more reason why you should protect the integrity and the reputation of this particular university through going to exams hall to conduct yourself very well. If there is rampant examination malpractice or if it's frequented in the news that there are a lot of examination malpractices happening in UNE, you will not be that proud to hold the certificate. So please don't allow anybody to dent the image of the university and put your certificate in danger. So if anyone is indulging in any form of examination malpractice, if I were you, I will report that student, because the person is putting my certificate in danger. Don't help anyone in any form of malpractices. Don't go to exams room with the intention of helping anyone. Go there, write your exams, pass, and go. If you are failing, once again, fail honorably. So we need to protect the image of the university to give you the credible certificate that has a competitive advantage over other institutions. It is very, very important. We are a very young university, and the university cannot survive any media backlash on examination malpractices. So we will not allow you on our part, and so don't come with any intention of indulging in any form of malpractice. We need to also give the university that good name we all want to, so that we can associate ourselves proudly with that image or that name of the university. Once again, you are welcome to the University of Energy and Natural Resources. You are welcome to go through all forms of lectures, and on the day of examination, we shall meet to conduct a peaceful, fair, and credible examination. I know all of you will bear with me and support me so that we conduct very decent examinations that we will all be proud of, examinations that will give a fair certificate to everyone, and we will all be proud of our certificates wherever we get it. I have to go by telling you that one of the means that the university will be communicating to you, even about examinations, is through the university's email addresses that will be given to you. Please make sure you use them. Read from your emails. As much as possible, update your records with this particular email that will be given to you, so that whatever information that will pass through them, you will also get them and then make use of them as and when you need it. Thank you very much, and all the best in your studies in UNE. Thank you.
Good afternoon, our freshmen. I'm happy to be here once again with you. I believe it's been a long day, but at the end of the program, we are assured that whatever you have heard here is going to help you and pushing on with your academic work. It's going to be a long journey, but we know that at the end of the day, you are going to come out with flying colors. We'll have some few announcements as we come to the end of today's program. Tomorrow, God willing, we are going to go through another session of orientation, and we are going to have people coming from sports. You have the SRC president also coming here. You, for the first time, for some of you, you'll be seeing your SRC president who will give a presentation. We also have someone from counseling and security services. They will all be here tomorrow. It's unfortunate our university medical doctor could not make it today due to an equally important assignment ongoing elsewhere. He has indicated his intention of joining us tomorrow to also give you a presentation on your health on campus, especially during this COVID period. We want to assure you that these activities are put in place to make sure that at the end of the day, you are well integrated into the university community. Now, we will have school level orientation, which will take place on Wednesday, and then departmental level orientation on Thursday. Now, I want you to note this. Now, on Wednesday, students from the School of Sciences, will have their orientation. Let me first go with the engineering because that one comes first at the same venue. So School of Engineering, students from School of Engineering, all those of you in the schools of engineering, if you have forgotten your school, kindly consult your offer letter. Your school is indicated in that. So from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., you are going to have your orientation session, which is face-to-face at a Sawmill. When you go to a Sawmill, we have room F2, Sawmill. I think it is early days yet, but when you get to campus, there will be others to help you to locate this. Sawmill, it is not a sawmill where we saw wood, but the history of the place is linked to formerly a sawmill which existed there. So we are not saying the orientation is going to happen in a sawmill as in its simplest sense. School of Sciences, students from School of Sciences also to note that at this same venue, Sawmill F2, you will have your orientation session, the school session, at 11:30 a.m. Your orientation, School of Sciences. Yours will commence at 11:30 a.m. So please take note. For those in the School of Natural Resources and School of Management Sciences, this is for you. Now for School of Management Sciences and Law, you will be using the auditorium. And your orientation commences at 9:30 a.m. 9:30 a.m. on Wednesday. 9:30 a.m. Wednesday. And then School of Natural Resources, yours also is at 1 p.m. 1 p.m. So please take note. School of Sciences and School of Engineering, yours will be at Sawmill F2. Engineering starting at 9 and ending at 11 a.m. And then the School of Sciences starting from 11:30. School of Natural Resources, Management Sciences and Law, the venue will be at the auditorium. Remember, you are going to come separately, please. Check the time. And this is also going to be a face-to-face session. So here you are going to meet your faculty officers, you meet your deans, and also your HODs. So please take note. So from here, I believe some of you were asking when the registration is starting and when it is ending. I want to inform you that do not panic. The registration process will go smoothly. Now for you, you now need this password and your username. Please wait. At the end of the day, when we are done with the departmental level orientation on Thursday, everything will be in place for you to get these details and register. as we speak now, you do not even know your head of department or faculty officer who will be there to receive your proof of registration. So please take note. So the academic calendar is here, which I'm currently showing. The academic calendar is here. Registration of courses. Sorry. Registration of courses was supposed to be the continuing student from 18th January to 29th January. So arrival of freshmen, yes, you are here already, and then your orientation stroke registration. Your orientation stroke registration is from today up to January 29. So you have some days to do this. Please wait. Please wait and do this after your departmental level orientation. It will help you when you do it this way. So do not go and immediately want to get these details, your username and password on your phone. Just exercise patience. There is time for you to do all that. Now, lectures will begin for all students on Monday, February 1, and please try as much as possible that by this date you will have registered and you know your courses. When you don't know your courses, it will be difficult for you to know which venues you'll be having lectures on the timetable. The timetable is going to come. It will be on the university website and also will be on other notice boards on campus. So please take note of this. Now we have a period for late registration, but fine, which is also going to start from February 1 and end on February 5. So take the note of these and act accordingly. Please take note. So we are here. Now registration of courses is there, the deadline, as I said. So you have up to about February 5 to finish registration. Now, fee payment. Fee payment. The university has given a flexible fee payment regime where every student who pays 50%, at least 50%, qualifies to register without any hassle. Initially, you were to fill a form, which is a flexible fee payment form, and get some lecturers to sign. Now, the understanding is that you are no longer to sign this, so you go straight away once you have made at least 50% payment of fees. When you go and click on that, your details will come. You do not need to send any their details or any filled form to any office. That is it. But remember, the remainder of your fees must be paid by the beginning of the second semester. Remember that the remainder of your fees should be paid by the beginning of the second semester. Now, not receiving SMS after this update, still processes are being put in place that these things work. So do not panic. As I said, let us have this final communication to you during your departmental level orientation on Thursday. That after that, everybody is free day, everybody can go ahead and register. Friday is there for you. You do not need to go to any office to queue anywhere. You can do this at the comfort of your hostel, your bed, wherever you are. Whether you are in a pub, in a restaurant, you will be able to do this registration. Do not go anywhere for this exercise. Just you can be anywhere. Once you have internet access, you can do that. So at the end of the day, those who want to update their records, when you update your records, you are not going to receive any SMS. After updating your records, you will not receive any SMS. The system will, once you see that operation successful, you are okay to go. That is all. You do not need an SMS after updating your record, but you receive an SMS when you want to receive get access to your username and password. I hope this is clear enough. So our freshmen, I wish that tomorrow you make it same time at 9 a.m. so that the program commences on time and we are able to also close on time. I believe at this stage, most of the questions which were bothering your mind have been answered, if not fully, at least partially. I think we've been able to do this. Going forward, we have platforms, as I mentioned earlier, the WhatsApp platform and other email access, telephone numbers are there. You can call when the need arises for further information. Thank you very much.